There's a plant root that can restore a dying landscape in less than 48 hours, not with synthetic fertilizers, not with genetically modified seeds, and not with expensive chemical treatments that cost $50 a bottle. It requires a single rhizome, a bucket of water, and 10,000 years of forgotten biological intelligence. It pulls minerals from deep within the earth that your topsoil lost decades ago. It accelerates cellular regeneration in plants at a rate that modern agriscience is only now beginning to quantify. It costs less than $1 to acquire from any local farm or heritage seed bank. And it outperforms every branded fertilizer on the retail shelf that costs 20 times more. So why has almost no one heard of it? Because the global agricultural and pharmaceutical industries generate over $1.5 trillion a year selling you the solution to failing soil and the health problems that follow it. A root that solves the problem of nutrient density for free cannot be patented, branded, or placed on a retail shelf with a recurring subscription. And what cannot be sold cannot be marketed. This is the story of the Earth Medic, the biological powerhouse that the big agro industry praise. You never learn to plant. Welcome to my channel. Before we open this vault, if these stories of suppressed knowledge matter to you, the bell and the subscribe button are the best ways to preserve this wisdom. Share it with someone who needs to remember what they made us forget. Now, let us go back to where this story begins. 1910, the English countryside. A man named Henry Doubleday becomes obsessed with a specific variety of the Symphytum genus, commonly known as comfrey. He discovers that this plant is not a weed, but a biological pump. It possesses a taproot that descends 10 to 15 feet into the subsoil, piercing through compacted clay and rock that the roots of your vegetables can never reach. At those depths, it mines for minerals that have been washed out of the surface soil by a century of industrial farming: potassium, magnesium, calcium, and iron. It pulls these elements upward, storing them in its massive, succulent leaves. When those leaves are cut and placed on the surface, they release a concentrated burst of nutrients that functions like a biological IV drip for your garden. But Doubleday discovered something even more dangerous to the establishment. He found that the plant contained a compound called Allantoin. In the early 20th century, doctors used this root to heal broken bones and deep wounds, earning it the name knit bone. It was the ultimate cellular regenerator. But as the pharmaceutical industry began to consolidate, in the 1950s, a natural healer that cost nothing became a direct threat to the emerging market of synthetic ointments and patented pills. They did not ban the plant. They did something far more effective. They launched a campaign of marginalization. They focused on a specific, rare alkaloid found in certain varieties and used it to classify the entire genus as a toxic weed in the public mind. They didn't have to burn the books. They just had to change the label. What was once the foundation of every self-sufficient homestead was reclassified as a nuisance to be sprayed with glyphosate. This video is just the surface of what has been hidden. I've collected every botanical technique, every soil measurement, and every historical protocol mentioned in this video into a complete document. The exact specifications Doubleday used and the mineral data from modern soil tests. The link is in the description. It is yours to download and keep forever. Now back to what the fertilizer industry does not want you to understand about the physics of a garden. Here is what most people, including many experienced gardeners, do not understand about how a plant actually eats. We are taught to believe that plants need a constant feed of NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium delivered in blue crystals or liquid sprays. But this chemical model is a trap. When you apply synthetic fertilizer, you're essentially giving your plants a hit of refined sugar. They grow fast, but their cell walls are weak. They become magnets for pests and disease, which then requires you to buy more chemical sprays to keep them alive. It is a cycle of dependency that generates billions for the companies that own both the fertilizer and the pesticide brands. The Earth Medic root breaks this cycle by utilizing the power of dynamic accumulation. Your garden isn't dying because it lacks chemicals. It is dying because it is starving for trace minerals and biological diversity. Your expensive store-bought fertilizer addresses the symptoms, but ignores the radiation of biological energy within the soil. While the industry sells you a $40 bag of premium soil, the comfrey root is busy performing a miracle for $1. It functions as a nutrient bridge. It takes the dead minerals from the deep earth and converts them into an organic form that your tomatoes, peppers, and fruit trees can absorb instantly. When you use this root, you aren't just feeding a plant. You are rebuilding an ecosystem. Stay with me, because the science behind this is as elegant as it is devastating for the chemical industry. It will change how you think about every leaf you see in your backyard. When you crush the root of this plant and apply it to the soil or use it as a foliar spray, a specific electrochemical reaction occurs at the molecular level. The allantoin within the root acts as a cell proliferant. It signals the plant's own DNA to accelerate the division of cells. In a garden that is wilting or stunted, This signal acts like a jump start to a dead battery. It doesn't just provide food, it provides the blueprint for rapid repair. Within 48 hours of a concentrated application, the chlorophyll levels in the leaves begin to spike. The plant's immune system, known as its systemic acquired resistance, is activated. It becomes naturally repulsive to aphids and mites. This is the part that should make every gardener absolutely furious. This technology was never a secret. It was published openly in agricultural journals in the 19th century and validated by NASA researchers studying closed-loop life support systems for long-term space travel. NASA found that bioaccumulators like this root were 80% more efficient at maintaining soil health than synthetic nutrient salts. Yet, the outdoor and garden industry spent decades acting as though this technology simply did not exist. Because here's the science that makes their entire business model deeply uncomfortable. A garden that can heal itself from a $1 root needs no further purchases. It requires zero recurring revenue. Let us do the math that the $1.5 trillion industry does not want you to see. A standard total garden care kit, including 10, 10, 10 fertilizer, a bag of lime, a bottle of pesticide, and a growth booster supplement, costs between $120 and $300 per season for a small backyard plot. Most of these products wash away during the first heavy rain, polluting the local water table and requiring you to buy more. The Earth Medic solution costs $1 once. You plant it in a corner of your garden, it grows. You cut the leaves, you drop them on the soil. The plant regrows. You repeat this for 20 years. The total investment for the conventional approach easily exceeds $2,000 over a decade. The Comfrey solution remains at $1. The numbers are devastating, but only for the companies that need you to keep buying solutions to problems that biology already solved for free at the dawn of time. If you have reached this far, you already know more about the physics of soil than 99% of people who spend thousands at garden centers every spring without ever questioning the narrative. Subscribe so you do not miss the next vault, because what we open next will change how you think about every breath you take. Now here is exactly how you use the $1 root to regenerate your garden. Pay attention, because this is what they never put in a garden catalog. Step 1. Sourcing the rhizome. You do not need a full plant. You only need a 2-inch cutting of a root, specifically the Bocking 14 cultivar. This variety is sterile, meaning it will not take over your garden with seeds, but it will grow a massive nutrient-dense crown. Step 2. The nutrient brew. Place 5 pounds of harvested leaves into a 5-gallon bucket of water. Cover it and let it sit for 3 weeks. This creates a black gold tea. It will smell like rot, but that smell is the scent of 10 feet of subsoil minerals being unlocked by anaerobic bacteria. Step 3. The foliar feed. Dilute the tea at a ratio of 10.1 with water. Spray it directly onto the leaves of your dying plants in the early morning. The stomata of the plants will absorb the nutrients and the allantoin directly into their vascular system. Step 4. The chop and drop. Simply cut the large outer leaves and lay them at the base of your heavy-feeding plants, like tomatoes or fruit trees. This acts as a slow-release fertilizer and a moisture-retaining mulch simultaneously. Step 5. The root barrier. Plant the root in a circle around your garden perimeter. Its deep roots create a biological fence that prevents invasive grass from creeping into your beds, saving you hundreds of hours of manual labor. I need to be honest with you here. This is genuinely nuanced. This root is powerful. Once you plant it, it is very difficult to remove because even a tiny piece of root left in the ground will grow back. It requires responsible management and intentional placement. But the principle behind it, the understanding that deep earth minerals and cellular signaling can replace a shelf full of chemicals, that knowledge is universally applicable. This knowledge did not die. It was buried. It waited in dusty manuals and fading memories. It waited for someone to remember. The solution to a dying garden was never a better chemical. It was never a more expensive brand. The solution has been the same for 10,000 years. Observation, reflection, and an understanding of the Earth's own systems. Your ancestors knew this. They survived because they understood what the industry spent $90 billion to make you forget. The more you know, the less you carry. The physics have not changed. The deep roots still reach the minerals. The Allantoin still repairs the cells. The sun still drives the cycle. The knowledge slept, but now you remember. If this vault opens something for you, subscribe and hit the bell. Every share preserves what they tried to make you forget. The most powerful tool in your garden is not a shovel or a chemical. It is the understanding of the biology sitting right beneath your feet. The next vault opens soon.